Alright guys, welcome to this video about finding your path in trading. This is going to be a pretty short video, pretty concise. It's really a follow-up to the trading plan video and just adding a little piece to that. And so in this video what I'm going to do is just kind of outlay the idea of finding your own path and why it's important as a trader. And there's some stuff that I could go into a whole bunch of detail in, but I'm not going to in this video because again, really the thing that I want to work on here is building a foundation. I don't want to get too detailed into stuff because my worry in that is that you plan this really in-depth system and strategy, and if it doesn't work, then you really have to pull back and start from ground zero. The way I want to do it is just set you up with some fundamentals. You want to trade using certain time frames, or you want to trade with a trend or in ranging markets, or whatever the case may be, and it's very fundamental stuff that you can add to and make a profitable system, rather than going all in depth and then making something that may not actually work for you long term. Okay, so that's the idea here. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail, but do want to lay out a few fundamentals. So basically the idea is that finding your own path is important. One of the key components is not trying to use something that doesn't really fit for you, trying to force a trading system or a trading idea or a trading philosophy that doesn't really fit for you. And so I could teach you exactly everything I do, help you understand exactly how I trade, but my style of trading may not be what works for you. And maybe you could follow it and be really disciplined and make it work, but still it's not going to be the best thing for you. Everyone has different circumstances that should have a direct effect on how they trade. And so it's not a bad thing that your circumstances affect how you trade. It's a good thing because your trading plan really should directly be involved with your way of life and the circumstances that are going to be a constant part of your life. Alright, so there's some important reasons why finding your own style or your own path to trading is really important. The first one is understanding. If you take someone else's system and you adapt and you try to follow it really disciplined, you're probably not going to have a really good deep understanding of exactly why they're doing the things that you're doing, because it's not your system. It's not something that you developed. It's not something that really makes sense to you because of who you are and because of how you look at the markets. And so your understanding of this system, if it's just a third-party system, is really not going to be complete. And when it comes to trading, you really do want to have a complete understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it. You want to make sure that every trade you take or everything that you do as far as managing your trades really makes sense, that it really registers with you and what you believe about trading, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult to be consistent and also to be confident, which is really my next bullet point there, the confidence. If it's someone else's system, it's a lot more difficult for you to develop that confidence in it, because it's not a system that you developed again by trial and error and understanding that this works because you've seen it with your own eyes. And so that really affects your confidence if you don't have your own style and you don't really follow your own path to trading that works for you. And then another reason, of course, probably the most practical reason, is the ability. Because if you're trying to follow someone who's trading 15-minute charts from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. on the New York session Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you have a job and you can't actually look at the charts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at that time, obviously you're not going to have a lot of ability to trade their system. And so part of the style and the path is that it has to really work for you. It has to fit your schedule and your circumstances so that you have the ability to actually follow the plan and follow that system. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. And of course, that's the last reason, success. Really, the ultimate purpose for having your own plan and finding something that really works for you is to make sure that you can see success. If you set yourself up for success from the beginning, if you do it in the installment plan, you'll have a lot more likelihood of seeing it long term and consistently over the period of time that you're in the program and working towards that. Success will come easier and it'll be more consistent as if you're following your own style of trading and really creating your own path. So some different styles of trading. You have longer term, intraday, short term. I could go into a lot more detail on those, and that will be really another lesson for another time. But to go into just a little more detail, let me explain this. Some people have longer-term trading styles where they really are in the markets very rarely. They kind of set up their sentiment for where they think the market may be going, maybe set up some orders or some live trades, and they really let it go. Maybe they check it in a few weeks to see what's going on. Then there's traders who have, a longer-term style. They're looking for multiple week targets, but they're actually still in the market every day, looking for new opportunities, managing those trades, changing stops, maybe adding to positions. And so even within the same style of trading, say longer-term trading, you can have very different approaches that will affect your circumstance. So it's beyond just figuring out, oh, do I want to trade daily bars, 4-hour bars, or 1-hour bars? That's nice, and it's good to know that. That's really actually a very small portion of the style. Okay, so within these styles, you need to have an idea of exactly, how much involvement you're going to be in. So, like again, for an intraday, there's intraday traders who are going to, sign in at 7 a.m. Eastern before they go to work. If they're working here in the eastern part of the United States, and they're going to maybe set up an intraday trade with a 50 or 100 pip target. They'll leave for work and they'll come back from work and check it. Well, then there's also intraday traders who are trading the hourly or 4-hour bars, but are monitoring the charts 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day. And again, they're incredibly involved within it and looking for all kinds of different setups throughout the day. And so another example of how you can maybe have the same style, the broad style being intraday, but really have a lot of different circumstances and time commitment to the actual style that you're trading that particular method. And so, what you want to do when you're talking about the style of trading, when you're talking about finding your own path, you want to say, okay, I have this amount of time to work with, and my schedule looks like this on these days. So this is the style of trading that really fits me. That's going to be, trading 4 hours or 4-hour bars and checking that 3 times a day throughout the day at this time, this time, and this time. And so that's a little more specific style to get you set up. And then lastly, I have short-term trading, which is typically going to be, that you don't have a lot of room there. You really do have to be watching the charts throughout the time that you're going to be trading. Now, again, that might be 8 hours for the day, or you might do short-term trading for only 2 hours in the day. So even within that, there's some room for variance. But 3 different basic styles and a little bit of criteria within that for how much time you're going to spend. And so here's some factors: time availability and schedule. So they go hand in hand, but they're also very different because some people might have 12 hours a day available, but their schedule is actually weird because it changes back and forth, or it's not at good trading times, or whatever the case may be. So, if you have only 2 hours a day available, but it's perfect hours where you have maybe a great time in the London session is when you're available, where 4-hour bars are closing and you're getting a good idea of the direction of the market. That can sometimes be better than someone who has 5 hours available, but it's not in a great time of the market, and they're not having a lot of opportunity to find trade setups, because as they're watching it for that 5 hours, it's a lot of chop and not really directional movement. Okay, so those things go hand in hand, but they're also different. And so that's the first factor to consider. How much time are you going to put in each day, and exactly what does your schedule look like for that time? Another factor would be your personality. Do you have kind of an upbeat, excited personality where you want to really be involved in the market? You don't want to sit back. You don't want to take only 1 or 2 trades a week. You want to take multiple trades a day. Is your personality going to allow you to step back and look at the market and not jump into trades? And an important note is, no matter what your personality is, you still need to have discipline. You can't just be undisciplined and blame it on your personality. So it's okay to have an upbeat, intense personality where you want to be involved in the market, but even with that, you still do have to have discipline, or else it's very difficult to see any kind of success in trading. But figure out your personality, what works for you. If you're laid back, if you can handle just kind of sitting and taking less trades and being patient, allowing those to develop, or if you're someone who's not quite as patient and wants to be in the market. Another thing to consider is your goals. If you're someone who's targeting 2 to 3% a month, you can probably have a little more lackadaisical trading plan where you're not so heavily involved in the markets. But if you're someone who's looking for 7 or 8 or 10% a month in your trading, you're going to have to get into more trading because it takes trading to make money. So that is going to directly affect the style at which you approach the markets. So your goals is gonna be a big part of that. And then, of course, another practical and obvious reason to change your style is going to be based on your strengths and your weaknesses. So, if your strengths are on the longer time frame, clearly you should be trading on the longer time frame. If your weakness is your risk management, then you should probably get that fixed before you're taking 10 trades a day. Because if you're taking 10 trades a day and you have a weakness in risk management, that's going to be very dangerous for your account. Okay, so the strengths and the weaknesses, depending on what those are and how they affect you, are going to play a role in the exact style that you're picking for trading. Okay, so that's basically it. That's really all I want to cover as far as the style aspect of trading. Again, we'll get into more detail on all of those, but what I want to do is just add this on your trading plan. Many of you have already given me a trading plan. Now what I want you to do is kind of add a caveat to that, add your style. And so I gave you a little homework assignment below. You can look below the video and click that. What that's going to do is just give you a little brief outline on what I'm asking for as far as style of trading is concerned, and just to give that to me along with your trading plan, which for most of you I should already have, and then that'll just give you one more step toward that foundation, which is what we're going to use to really build a good comprehensive system that's going to lead you toward consistent profitability. Okay, so building these fundamental aspects is really important, and the style is going to play a big role in that. All right, guys, thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.